not only do you have to manage kind of your brand visibility, but also, how your brand voice is online. A lot of times we have user-generated content too, that hopefully comes from your brand and people that love you. But yeah, reputation management, I think, is more important than ever now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Lessons for Tomorrow podcast, the motivational poster in your ear. I'm your guest host, Jerry Boduch, Chief Partnerships Officer at AmericanEagle.com. Today's episode kicks off our new series, The Partner Pulse, brought to you by the partnerships team here at AmericanEagle.com, where we keep a pulse on real-time trends and shifts we're seeing across our partners and the broader tech ecosystem. To discuss here, we have Stephen Legao online, Peter Gavrilos, Arlen Roiba, and Catherine Espada.
Nice. Love that. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, excited to be here. Getting us all in the same room. I can't say the last time that's happened for one of these, so should be a good one.
Yeah, no, we've been traveling a lot recently, huh, guys? We've been all over the country, the world, talking and meeting with partners, going to various conferences. We're in a really cool spot. I love tech and I love what we do, and we get to see a lot of those things firsthand.
Yeah.
So why don't we, kind of go through some of our travels and, kind of comment on what we're seeing out there in trends and tech and what our partners are doing. So, Peter, why don't you kick us off? Where's some of the latest places you've been and some of the things you're hearing from your partners?
Yeah. So it's been a busy 2026 so far. We're only like 2 months in, and I think I've been on like 3, maybe 4 partner trips already. Most notable and probably the largest in terms of conference size that I went to was NRF. I actually went there with Arlen. He was there as well. Huge e-commerce transactional show. And it was great. We got to see a lot of our partners. I think that's a benefit of us attending a lot of these, is we get a lot of face time with the people we work with day to day at all these other organizations. Yeah, it was great. Got to meet with a handful of partners, a lot of platforms as well, kind of showcase what their roadmaps look like, what's new and upcoming for them. So while I was at NRF, and I think Arlen could attest to this as well, I think agentic commerce was a huge topic. It's basically, how AI is being applied to the commerce space, which I thought was a really interesting topic. Is really like a buzz phrase that I heard a lot. And it's, kind of changing the traditional shopping experience that a user typically has online. So instead of me going to a singular shop or a singular retailer online, they're basically using AI to, pull data points from various, centers of the web. And you're able to compare, contrast pricing. You're able to negotiate. They pull all of these products from places that I otherwise would probably never visit, and you're able to compare them and make a purchase. So I thought that was cool. A lot of partners were showcasing that. I think Shopify actually recently launched what their version of agentic commerce is, which they're calling UCP, stands for like Universal Commerce Protocol. But they worked with Google on it, which is basically the same premise. Like if I look up red coat, I'm now going to get options from all of these retailers that I probably wouldn't have visited on my own. They're pulling all that information for me. AI is presenting me with options, varying price points. I'm able to compare them. They're getting this data from Google, but then they're also getting it from all these various marketplaces. And then in addition to the marketplaces, now they're getting them from these individual sites as well. So I thought that was cool. New York in January is a little bit cold. Me and Arlen, didn't get a whole ton of walking in. I probably ran up the Uber expenses for the company, but what are you going to do? But in addition to New York, also, by the way, Arlen, anything else you want to add about New York?
I
maybe
think,
partners you saw?
I think not just agentic commerce, but the word agentic in general is starting to be applied in AI for almost everything, right? We see it with Kentico. I mean, they weren't in New York when we met with them, but they are using Ira, which is their agentic marketing suite now, right? So I think it's not just applying to e-commerce, but I think it's applying to AI overall. And again, to be seen if it's just the buzzword of 2026. I know last year was a whole lot of AI is going to take our jobs in the next 6 months, and those 6 months kept getting extended and extended and extended. So, more to come on if agentic is going to stick or if it's going to be one of those buzzwords, but I think it's being applied to more than just commerce, from what I've seen at least.
No, for sure. I feel like almost every partner that we have, technology partner that we have, is doing something with AI inside their suite of tools, inside of how they operate as an organization. We're using AI a lot internally at here on the partner team. We have an AI guild at American Eagle that's always looking at the trends out in the market and bringing solutions to our customers. So there's no doubt that, in my opinion, AI is here to stay, and a lot of different applications of AI is what I'm seeing in a lot of our partners, even to the point where, from a marketing perspective, we're seeing some of our partners rebrand some of their offering to make sure that they're including AI, right? Because one good example of that is Sitecore, our biggest partner. Recently, they decided to essentially bring together a lot of their product suite under one umbrella, and rename that product to Sitecore AI, with the option of having a layer of AI on top of all of the suite of products, the tooling that they have. So really exciting announcement. Should simplify their sales pursuits, because they're essentially positioning one major product. They have other products, obviously, but that's the major one, and it's all under this suite of other offerings. So but what about you, Catherine? I know that,
I want to hear from Catherine. What's going on? Where have you been?
I have. So we were lucky enough to go to the Intuit Partner Summit, and exactly what you guys are saying. There's a ton of agentic solutions, right, that they're using. So their overall is Intuit, but really they have everything from QuickBooks to MailChimp, and they're kind of bringing it into the suite and then using agents to kind of help you through their new ERP suite that they'll be pulling out, that they actually partnered with us. So we're really excited to be a partner in that way. And I just kind of see it like you guys are saying in all of our partners. So everything from SEO that's quickly turned into AEO/GEO, which really from our SEO team, which I always say they're best in class. They're like such an incredible team to kind of meet with these partners and different solutions and really understand what they are and get through kind of like all the fluff of it. And really, AEOs just bring visibility, right, at the end of the day. So making sure that your listings are correct, reviews are kind of being watched, and great content, which always kind of matters.
Where was this at? Were you also in frigid New York? Were you somewhere warmer?
No. So we were lucky enough to go to Palo Alto at their summit. I know we got to eat outside and everything. It was pretty great.
That's nice.
I've
just been going to the tundra, man. Like we did New York. I was supposed to go to Nashville where Jerry lives, but that got completely shut down by some ice storm.
Ended up being an Arctic tundra too.
A whole Arctic tundra, which was a bummer because we have a great partner, Site Improve. They work in the accessibility space. They were having their partner their SKO down there, and they invited us to join as a partner. They're doing a lot of great stuff as well. Similarly to Sitecore, they've almost like done a rebrand to Sitecore, or to Site Improve AI, which, it really is applied to everything. We've talked about platforms, we've talked about SEO, we've talked about e-commerce, and now accessibility as well. Big thing with Site Improve, actually, I'll give them like a little plug because unfortunately, again, I wasn't able to attend, but we're working with them on the move to Title II. So Title II for the ADA goes into effect towards the end of April. So that's something that we're definitely keeping an eye on. So that was also cold. I'm trying to think where else. Jerry, you were in Europe? Somewhere in Europe.
Yes,
you got to tell us about that.
So
Mr. Worldwide is what they're calling Jerry.
Mr. Worldwide. Wow.
Yeah. So
you and Pitbull share the same nickname.
I was pretty lucky. So I went to a bunch of great cities in Europe with Tony, our CEO, Tony Savanassini. So we went to Vienna, Amsterdam, and various parts of Germany, including Berlin. And I'm going to get this name wrong, Schlopingen, where Shopware is located.
That's such a good destination, Schlopingen. Yeah.
It's on my summer
They have a really cool office.
It's on my summer bucket list, actually, to go to that.
Schlopingen?
Yeah.
Me too.
It was great. The whole trip was awesome. So we were in Vienna for the LifeRay SKO.
Right.
So Stephen, how do you think that went?
Yeah, Vienna was awesome. So the first day was really hearing from them about where they're going to go with the product, what questions they have of us, and how best to go to market. And I think one of the cool things about our fit specifically with LifeRay is traditionally they've been a developer first, a IT first company where the platform grew through developers. I think we see a lot of use cases more on the marketing side, and our customers are more of those marketers. And so it's cool to hear that is a little bit of where they're shifting, right? Some of their product offerings are moving a little bit more composable. The DXP platform on the whole is still best in breed and competes with some of our other enterprise platforms. But what they're doing is decoupling some of those and making it easier for CMS only and integration platforms and analytics tools that can be sold individually or sort of bundled, not necessarily on the whole, the full DXP, that I think opens it up to more of our customer base. And so it was really cool and a welcomed addition to kind of their offerings. On the whole, the ecosystem and SKO is high energy. It's good stuff. I mean, we see a lot of synergy with them as a company, family owned, sort of built on the foundations of good customer service and growth with those customers. And so it's really nice to get out there and see those guys. And I think that there's a ton to come from that. It feels like we're really building something with those guys.
Yeah, no. So besides the LifeRay SKO, Tony and I also visited our wonderful partners Kentico in Brunel, where we did our quarterly business review, and we talked about different strategies for growth, what they're seeing in market. They're definitely seeing what we're seeing in terms of AI and integrating it into their tooling to make things more streamlined for customers and admin users to be more quicker to time to market with different campaigns and different things that they need to launch for their various customers. We also went to visit Shopware. Shopware, it's a very, very cool story. It was two brothers that created an e-commerce platform to help their uncle sell products online. And then from there, that turned into them getting referrals for other businesses in the German DACH region. And again, most of their business was referrals. They kept growing, and then eventually they decided to just create a product for e-commerce and get a partner network. So they are trying to get into the U.S. market. They're already in the U.S. market. They're doing a lot of work here, and they've asked us to participate. So it's been a nice new partnership there, and it was great to have some FaceTime with some of the founders, and it really helps to build that relationship. So it's our jobs take us a lot of cool places. It was really my first time in all three of those wonderful cities. So it was wonderful. It was, I will say, pretty cold and gloomy. So I'm looking forward to going back in the summer where maybe I could see some sunshine as well.
Yeah. I think the only non-frigid place I got to visit so far this year was actually in Vegas. Funny enough, because you were just talking about Shopware. The last time we met with Shopware in person was in New York. Yep. You and I traveled there together, but while you were visiting them, I was visiting a newer partner called Webflow, which is actually the reason why I went down to Las Vegas. They, like many of our other partners, invited us to their SKO, or what they call WKO, because it involved not only their selling team, but their entire organization. And that went really well. We're newer to that space. Webflow is a newer platform partner of ours, but they have an amazing presence. I think currently they have over 300,000 customers, ranging in size. They have very small sites up to enterprise sites, kind of playing in the same like content DXP space. They seem like a very energetic company. They have a lot going on, and they're really building out their partnership team. So
Yeah, no, it sounds
think,
great.
yeah, I think from my side, that might round it out in terms of the places I've been so far. Like I said, only
Yeah.
2 months in.
So there's one more important meeting that I forgot to mention. And that
Okay.
it was in Vienna with one of the co-founders of Storyblock, which is
okay.
also
Nice.
a somewhat newer partner for us. We've been partners for a few years, but they're also doing a lot with AI, and they have a really cool offering called Flow Motion. Arlen, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So it is, I'm glad you brought it up because Flow Motion is intended to make automation way easier, right? I think one thing that we've discussed with them in the past is it's more about time to market now, not necessarily maybe quality. Of course, you want both, but I think speed to market is number one, right? So something like Flow Motion will kind of help with workflows. They'll have pre-built workflows. It'll help have AI build you out workflows. I mean, it's really just a tool that gives you live feedback while you're building out these workflows and automating these workflows, right? I mean, and you're not limited. And I think there's a feeling here that if this is also automated, can you kind of just pause and go back in? And I think the beauty of it is it also lets you kind of pause the workflows and the automation and start writing code yourself, right? I think that's maybe a developer's worst fear is getting automated out of a job. But I think the number one thing to take away from at least something like this is that it's going to help you do your job, right? More than hurt you. It's going to give you tools that you didn't have access to before, and speed that you didn't have access to before. So I know they're super excited about rolling it out. We're going to continue to get ourselves enabled here at AmericanEagle.com on it. And I know we're excited about it as a company. So obviously more to come on it, but I think it's something really great to look out for coming this year within the next couple months, even actually.
Definitely. So Catherine, you recently joined the team. You're working with our digital marketing department, helping us grow our services and our customer base there. You've seen a lot of great stuff that our team has been doing there.
Yeah.
How are they using AI to help customers?
Yeah, I will say that first and foremost, like AI is a tool, right? So we're all about human intervention and having our team. We have an incredible team that really digs into it. We've had some of the team who's built their own kind of brand visibility and brand voice bots, right? That kind of help us with content and just kind of general information. What's really cool and also kind of interesting is our partners at Yext let us know when we're kind of looking at citing, right, for AEO, that over 86% of like any like searches that are cited are listings, reviews, and they're now coming from social media. So we've partnered with Reddit for kind of like Reddit strategy and a couple other of those larger social platforms that have really helped us kind of structure how our like clients have brand visibility in a different way. So in these different communities that the LLMs are scraping. But yeah, I would say the team they're really excited about AI, but we definitely always understand that it's a tool for us, right? So yeah, just lucky to have a team who's every time I give them a new tool, they vet it with me. They're very honest if they love it or hate it. And I'm just thankful that, they let me play around with them too in the tools.
Yeah, good. Catherine, actually kind of a question for you being in this AEO space. I think one thing that I've learned in conversations with you and with Yext is that when a lot of these results and analytics aren't showing as much as people want from organic traffic because of AI, I mean, how important is it to have content just updated? I mean, there's probably so much old content now, but how important is it to have all of that updated?
Definitely. I think now more than ever, it's kind of like the story. If you're not going to write your story, the LLM will write it for you. So it's really important to have good content that not only it doesn't make sense for your brand, but that your reviews are kind of kept up to date with reputation management. I know Yext and Scout, they do a really great job with that. But we do have a couple other partners in the space that it's quickly growing that not only do you have to manage kind of your brand visibility, but also, how your brand voices online. A lot of times we have user-generated content too, that hopefully comes from your brand and people that love you. But, yeah, reputation management, I think, is more important than ever now.
Sweet.
So guys, with all the things that we've seen over the last few months, few years with AI, what do you think are some of the most practical use cases that we're seeing, results for our customers?
Yeah.
Come to mind, Peter?
You know what? I'm going to toss that to Steven first, get his opinion, and then I'll chime in.
Yeah, Steven, you've been quiet.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Dude,
Steven?
we need more from him. What's going on, Steven?
So AI for our customers is I'll break it down in a couple different places. I think first where I'll start is HubSpot, and they have been adopting this for a long time. They rolled out their suite of AI tools called Breeze AI, and it's agentic things that you can add from the marketplace, things like customer agents and prospecting agents and sales agents. And their whole focus is really making it easier for the daily users of the tool to find the information that they need. So you can take this prospecting agent, for example. You're a BDR, you have 60 accounts that you're responsible for this month. The prospecting agent can kind of say, this customer looks like this one, and you've seen success here. This score should be better. You should reach out here. A lot of that is making your job easier. You're sort of in the box. Same thing on the marketing side, right? If a group of people looks and smells and feels like some of your best customers, HubSpot can highlight, who those folks are and the content journeys that we maybe push them on. This is the kind of thing that we're training our folks on internally too, to be better at delivering. I mean, the speed of AI is incredibly fast. And so some of these product changes that these organizations, that our partners are undertaking happen quickly, that it's tough for us to get our feet under us to be able to articulate how best to say that to a customer. And then by the time we're ready and focused on one thing, they've already rolled out three or four others. So the speed of iteration, especially on the CRM and marketing automation side, I think is only going to grow. And a lot of that is really just end users. On the CMS and DXP side, I think a lot of it is delivering better experiences. I mean, it's really rooted in personalization and hyper personalization. So I think that the AI for DXP is, again, same thing with like LifeRay, some of the other partners I'm working with. It's really around how do we get the right message to the right person at the right time and accelerate that. Everybody's rolling out their flavor of this. I think at this point, when you're purchasing a new technology on the CMS or DXP or CRM side, like generative AI is almost table stakes. Build me this title, make this blog. But I think that really where the fine tuning and the consultation that we can continue to support is what actually drives revenue for customers. What actually matters, like, okay, cool, you've written a blog post and you need a good title. All of them can now say, here's your blog title, here's the metadata, here's what needs to happen. But how do we take that and make sure that we've architected the solution in a way that actually gets in front of the right people? Not just the creation of it on the end user side, but our customers, are they seeing the benefits of this, and have we architected those solutions in the right way? I think it's incredibly fast for, we get our feet under us, and then, like I said, something jumps into the future and we're already 2 steps behind. And so it's a lot of fun to try and play a little bit of whack-a-mole, but it can be a little frustrating along the way.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Steven.
I mean, if we're talking about the everyday person, of course,
how do you use AI
like myself,
today to
I make the joke that sometimes I think I come off too aggressive in emails. So AI is kind of saving my butt a little bit and telling me to tone it down, or it's helping me fix my tone, right? So that's kind of my biggest use. But with technology coming out every day, sometimes we need quick comparisons when we're helping out people internally here, looking for recommendations on technologies, or, we're just looking at it ourselves. I think AI has really helped me out a lot doing quick comparisons between different technologies in specific spaces, right? Whatever the industry may be, might not have the most knowledge on in that moment in time. And I think that kind of helps ramp up the learning process. So I think that's number one, is just every day we're trying to learn more, and AI can help speed up that learning. From businesses, we talked about agentic. And I think it's important to note that there's a specific word in there that agentic references, and it's agent, which agentic, commerce, agentic marketing can help produce agents that help within a company. And I think we're seeing that with, live chats, for example, where people are putting in agents. We have a great partner in DX Factor who has something called a concierge agent, which kind of helps with the live chat process and prompts. And, they can even do voice automated prompts. So I think from a quick, easy business perspective and win, that's somewhere where you can address that in a hurry and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that our team has done internally here in order for us to build agents is they've taken in a secure way and built a system that allows the agents that we develop to access our systems in a secure way, right? So, as an organization, we've been around for over 25, close to 30 years. There's a lot of data that we have in terms of the work that we've done, the industries that we serve, the solutions that we've built, the number of hours it's taken, how we've built certain things. And so, it's very hard to digest all that information, but by allowing all of that information to be ingested into an LLM, we can now, in a secure way, build agents that go out into that information and help us with things like proposal reviews, proposal creation. We can prompt it for, hey, give me an example of a great credit union site that we built in, the Midwest, and what were some of their challenges and how did we solve those challenges, literally by prompting it, right? So it's pretty cool. And we're just going to keep adding to that infrastructure and that list of agents to help us be more efficient for our clients and deliver more value for our clients. So it's an exciting thing. I know it took a lot of effort to get all those systems connected, but now that we have it, it can be pretty powerful. And we've done it for ourselves. Now we're releasing these services for our customers too, right? So that's going to be pretty exciting times for us to be able to help customers with a similar type of problem. Lots of data. How do you access it? How do you prompt it in a secure way so it doesn't get outside of the firewall, the internal walls, right? So it's going to be an exciting time as we release these services.
Yeah, we've even got something for our own kind of internal partnerships team here. When it comes to submitting maybe sites for, we like winning awards here. We're not shy about that, but we like to submit sites for site of the month, site of the year. And we've got a coworker on our team by the name of Ben, who's really dove into that AI capability to take these kind of project summaries that are released internally and turn them into site submission quick hitter case studies. We're talking about a process that was so manual that we would take like 2 weeks of planning and actioning.
Yeah, and we've reviewing people to get that out of their minds.
Exactly.
We didn't know all the details behind the project.
And we've kind of sped that process up to a matter of days. And it's paid, I think, great dividends for the team.
Oh, for sure. I think honestly, the main benefit of AI in general, whether it's like personal use of AI in the workplace, is time saving. Like personally, I don't want to sit around and make a Spotify playlist of 100 songs. I'd rather Spotify just automatically make it based off my preferences. Yeah. Same thing when it comes to going back to, again, agentic commerce. Having an agent be able to scrape the web, pull all of these products for me instead of me individually going site to site and looking at them, being able to prompt it with a price range instead of me having to go in manually and filter it and, compare it myself versus having an agent basically create the comparison for me has saved me like so much time. And it's not just me. I think I'm speaking towards really anyone who is in a retail purchaser position. I think it's applicable basically across the board and really for all of our partners, whether it's commerce, whether it's accessibility, manual testing versus automated testing. There's a lot of applications across the board. And I also think another hot take, I think AI really just needs to work on its own branding. Like the branding of AI is so bad because it's such a blanket statement, but really
so many different things that fall under that category.
And once you're in a position like ours on the partnership team, you really get to see the true applications of it based on each individual partner, based on each individual, ecosystem or vertical that it's living in. So I don't know. Maybe we crack that
It's a
code.
little bit of a
Like,
mind shift change as well, right? Because you have to embrace it. You have to
right.
play around a little bit to
Yeah.
get used to it. You have to feel comfortable with it not being 100% accurate the first time,
For sure.
Mhm.
and you have to keep adjusting. So, it's really fun. It's really cool that we've been embracing it internally as a company, that our partners have been embracing it. But I agree with you. Like, just using the word AI, I mean, it's very, very broad in terms of
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
included under
I think
AI,
it's
agentic.
broad, it's
Yeah.
scary, but like really, when you actually look at the useful applications of it, it could be super helpful. You
Mhm.
know,
It's kind. I kind of see it going to Catherine, like the way digital marketing is used as a blanketed term. Okay, well, what does that entail, right? There's email marketing, there's SEO, there's paid ads. Like there's so much that goes into it, and I think we'll get to that point where AI is broken into this section of AI
Various
and this
categories.
and that, and
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah,
start
for
labeling
sure.
the categories instead of just giving it a blanketed statement.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right.
Steven, what'd you
Maybe
think
pause.
about all that?
So AI internally, I think that it's broken into two phases right now. I think that there's a lot of uses for enterprise. We at American Eagle can spin up sites and use accelerators and prompts and things like that to build the shells for what these sites would be, move modules from our standards repository that have already been approved by accessibility team, have already gone through sort of the rigors of QA, so that we know that this card module on this CMS is going to work as we want. You can automate a lot of that and move those things through. And where I also see is a lot of day-to-day individual and personal use. I mean, I had this tool for a while. I was using a tool called Motion. And it was more or less, I could type in a task, it would find an open slot on my calendar and add it right there. We've moved some tasks internally, or some tools internally, so it's not necessarily as applicable or helpful as it was. But things like that, the individual, I think, can gain a lot. Claude for reading your content and making sure that you're not repeating yourself, or suggestions around those sorts of things. The individual's workflow can be augmented a ton. What I'm still curious about is like the mid-market. How do we help serve customers that they don't have the budget, appetite, or team talent to onboard like an enterprise AI strategy or a platform that does that kind of thing, but day-to-day use isn't really scratching the surface enough for them. I think that as more adoption grows across AI and it continues to accelerate, how can we solve customer challenges where budget may be a concern, apprehension to the technology. I mean, we work with a lot of financial institutions, banks, regulated industries where the use of those things is still a little taboo. So how can we bridge that gap, and what can we do to help kind of solve those things? And I think some of that is rooted in how do you use it on a day-to-day basis, right? How do our sales teams use it? RFP review and standardization of our SOWs, making it more of a well-oiled machine. I think that can really accelerate that. And maybe that's the consultation we provide to our customers. It's these kinds of things can help you be better at your job on a day-to-day basis, and we can help orient those. And that may move into digital marketing, may move into content, generative stuff, but could also just be your business workflow. How does me including a check or something using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini accelerate what we're able to do and get something in front of customers faster, solve a problem faster. Customer ticketing solutions, those chatbots, those kinds of things are maybe more meaningful for the mid market than we think, and that's really where my view, where my head goes when we're thinking about what comes next.
Yeah, I do know that HubSpot's just a huge partner on the digital marketing side. Stephen, I know you spent a lot of time with that team as well. What have you seen lately?
So HubSpot AI, and I talked about it a little bit earlier, there really is their Breeze suite. And I think that what they're trying to do is make it easier for each of their end users. sellers, marketers, customer service, customer service agents or content authors to do their job faster. They have an assistant, that's within there, kind of like a co-pilot. Help me find the 40 customers of ours that have spent the most money and have not bought in the last 6 months, something like that. You can type that in natural language and it'll spit that out. You can then create a list and add that to a campaign. If you're, things as simple as, data hydration, automating something like a subscription from ZoomInfo. HubSpot has that now. And you load a company record in there. And if you don't have 12 of the 50 properties you need in order to segment, it can kind of fill those things in. So they obviously wants to automate and will continue to do so and build, intelligent campaign and customer journeys and triggers and sending, creating tasks and sending auto emails and adding, text messages and those things like that within a sales cadence. But I also think that really what, at least to date, where they've spent a lot of time is making it easier for their consultants and the end users to use the platform in a way that is malleable and useful for them. I'm sure that's, again, that's happening with, some of our other partners, Salesforce and Klaviyo and ActiveCampaign, across the digital marketing spectrum. But HubSpot specifically, it's been cool to see them roll this out piece by piece, to the point now where you can install things to OpenAI, to Claude, directly from within your, HubSpot account. And so, using something like Cowork, you as an end user, a customer of ours, can really, match and mesh what you're doing at home. Hey, spin up this recipe for me. You can use it, that same kind of language, but for business, HubSpot's making it easy to do so. I think they're one of the few kind of leaders in that space right now. But obviously it's all moving a mile a minute. So, something that is brand new today may not be tomorrow.
So guys, that was a really exciting podcast. I think they're going to have us back. It's a partner pulse series. So
I really get my time to shine. I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
I'm going to start breaking out some of my famous jokes maybe for the next series. So
you gotta end each one with a good Jerry dad joke.
We do need a good Jerry dad joke to end, I think.
All right, we're putting him on the spot. It'll start next podcast.
Yeah, next
the one
podcast,
after this.
guys. We'll do some more jokes and we'll figure something more creative. But guys, thanks for listening to the Partner Pulse series on the Lessons for Tomorrow podcast. Find out more about AmericanEagle.com's services and today's topic in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with others. I'm your host, Jerry Boduch, and we'll catch you in the next lesson. Thanks for listening.